Hi everyone, and welcome to this session, which is the MSc Organic Farming Q&A session with completely live here with our staff and student panel. This is an SRUC winter webinar series that we're doing this winter to try and make sure that anyone who's thinking about applying for a postgrad at SRUC can kind of find out absolutely everything they could possibly ever want to know. We're in a fantastic situation where we've had lots of people sending us in questions over the past couple of weeks, and some of the ones even from emails we're going to put to our staff and students today, and hopefully anything that you're maybe thinking, oh, I wish I'd asked that, will be covered today. Before we kind of get going, I'll just let you know, my name's Gavin. I'm part of this marketing and student recruitment team here at SRUC with a focus on postgrads, and I'm joined today with a fantastic panel. I've got the very, very nice, easy job today of literally just reading out the questions that you guys have all asked, and then I'll pass it over to the panel to answer the tough questions. So without any further ado, I think we'll introduce the panel. So if we start with Lou, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name is Lou Ralph and I'm the Programme Leader for the MSc Organic Farming, SRUC.
Perfect. And Jennifer?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Byrne and I completed the programme in 2020. I'm currently just into second year PhD candidate, so I've taken my studies on a little bit further.
Amazing. Perfect. And Joel?
Hi, I'm Joel Conroy and I'm currently a second year student studying organic farming MSc.
Perfect. So yes, as you'll see, we've got a good mix there. So we've got Joel who's currently studying it, Jennifer who has studied it and is now on to her PhD, which is pretty amazing, and Lou who kind of takes the course as well. So Lou, seeing as you're the academic for the course here, I was maybe just going to ask you the first question, and we'll start off with a very nice, easy one just to set the scene. And it's just about the course itself. So it's a part-time postgrad program, and it's delivered online. How flexible is that, and how many hours a week can a student expect to commit to that?
We have flexibility that can be built in at various points. So basically, it's a 3-level award. You can do a postgrad certificate in 1 year, or a postgrad diploma in 2 years, or a master's over 3 years. There's a bit of extra flexibility built in. So the postgrad certificate and diploma have a maximum time frame of 4 years, and the MSc a maximum time frame of 6 years. But it's also possible to apply for the postgrad certificate or diploma and then progress through the awards, as long as you reach a particular progression standard. And also you can exit with a lesser award than you originally intended if your circumstances change. So there's a reasonable amount of flexibility there. And in terms of how much time we expect it to take, well, we would say we recommend 12 to 15 hours a week, but I guess over to the students to see what it's actually like.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go to Joel. How many hours a week do you think you are currently investing in it?
I don't know. I mean, I do as much as possible. I mean, obviously working, juggling the work and the family. And so I'd say at least about 15, 20 hours a week. That just keeps me in shape, I would think.
That's a good point. Good point. So thanks for that answer, Lou. And Joel, while we've got you, what I'll maybe ask you is just kind of what's your story? How did you come to get into organic farming, and what kind of led you to this course?
Well, I've been working in film, television and commercial production for about 20 years, and I've kind of always, I suppose, had an interest in organic farming. And I took a break in 2019, and I worked for several months in an organic farm in Cork, which primarily studied food production. And it was a part of that, the business of food, that kind of led me to wanting to learn more about organic production. I suppose a lot of it was to do with kind of mitigating the climate change and the interest in our planet. But there was a course leader recommended that SRUC was kind of like the highly recognized university, and it was only the one offering level 10 qualifications, and she was the one that really pushed me to get in touch. And yeah, I suppose it's just like a progression, and here I am now in year 2.
Flies by, absolutely flies by. Yeah, that's good progression. It's good having that kind of as you say, there's not many places, if many others, to offer this program. So yeah, it's good that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose not coming traditionally from a farming background, at the very start, I kind of had this little bit of like imposter syndrome where I thought, oh, but I have, I do have a horticultural background, and when you kind of meet other students on the course and you figure out, like, I mean, they're all from very different backgrounds and different sides. They're all not just complete farmers, and there's a whole different kinds of interest. So I mean, and it's like the way the course is made up as well, of all the different modules. It's very varied and adaptable to everyone.
Yeah, that's good. So that's what led you to come to this course in the SRUC. Jennifer, how about yourself? What was your kind of driving force to bring you to study SRUC?
Yeah, so like Joel, I come from a completely unrelated background. My first career was in music, and that kind of came to its natural end less than 10 years ago. So I found organic horticulture purely by accident. I made the discovery and just fell in love instantly, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. This program then, was very well recognized, and I knew lots of people at the time who had been doing it or were, hoping to do it. It has quite the following here in Ireland. So, it just seemed like the next step. I mean, it was the inevitable step, if you like, just to progress my own knowledge. And it's funny, like Joel says, it doesn't actually matter what your background is in terms of farming or horticulture or what have you, because the course took me in such a strange direction, in the sense that I would have been very strongly aware that I had no knowledge of livestock, and yet that turned out to be, there were strands of that turned out to be hugely interesting to me, and the course gave me the opportunity to explore that. So, and everybody in my year, again, we were just from hugely different backgrounds, and because of that, you learn lots just from your peer group, which is really, really beneficial.
Yeah, I think that's so reassuring to probably so many folk who are watching, just the fact that Joel from a kind of filming background, Jennifer from a musical background, and as you say, you don't need to come from a specifically purely agricultural background. You can come in from it all kind of walks of life and really enjoy this course, get a lot out of it as well, which is super refreshing and really, really good to know. Really good points there. Move on to the next question before we come back to the students to kind of get a bit more of the student idea. Lou, if I could maybe ask you just about why people who maybe are thinking about coming to do this course, why should they pick SRUC? What's kind of so fantastic about SRUC?
Well, we've got more than 20 years experience of teaching organic farming at postgraduate level, and we've got that set alongside a 30-year history of related research and an in-house advisory service. And these three things come together really well. And so to make the program pretty top-notch, in my obviously unbiased opinion. And we know from student feedback that the course has been transformational for some of them in what they've gone on to do next. And if you add to that the fact that we also have some fairly high-profile sector experts involved in the program, then we've kind of got a lot of good things coming together.
Yeah, I think that is the fantastic thing about it. I mean, obviously, we will say that because we work at SRUC and we absolutely love the place. And you just need to look across like all our social media and stuff like that. You'll see how many things are going on at any given time. Lots of things happening at the institution. And on that note, Lou, I'll maybe stick with you to ask the question more. Like, obviously, that's why SRUC is so good. But we are kind of noticing that people are very interested in organic farming at the moment and kind of the organic industry. So what do you think is driving people towards being so interested in organic farming at the moment?
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting question, actually, Gavin. I mean, organic farming has obviously been around for quite a long time. But I think probably there's a sort of increased current interest really linked with lots of globally relevant topical issues. So people are becoming more interested in sustainable food production. they're thinking about how we can create positive interactions between food production, climate change, and biodiversity, for example. And something that's quite interesting that people won't necessarily know is that organic farming is actually the only farming system which is defined in law. So that can give confidence to consumers about the product they're buying, but also give confidence to producers that their product is actually fitting in with this legal framework. And I think at the moment there's a lot of media coverage about our broken food system and the need to build a new food culture. And I think people are picking up on that and they're interested in that. And I think, as the students have already alluded to, sometimes our students are already producers, they're already in the industry, but sometimes they're from completely unrelated backgrounds and they just become interested in how we grow our food and how we sell it and how it's distributed. And the links between food production and community, I think, are becoming more important. And I think that was quite evident during the pandemic. And I think people have got an increased interest in the role of organic farming in future agricultural systems, and trying to gain a better understanding of how we can integrate food production with sustainability. But there's also people who are interested in the science behind it and what the evidence base is. Because, if I'm honest, the evidence base isn't always apparent in the media. And I think, people are actually quite interested in finding out for themselves what the underlying evidence is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. You get the people who maybe see it because obviously food is such an obvious thing. You eat it every single day, you buy it from the shops all the time. And as you say, like during lockdowns and pandemic, when the kind of supply chain was interrupted, people were really starting to think a lot more about what they were buying, what they were doing. So yeah, that's a really good point. And then obviously the folk who are really interested in the science thing behind it. Yeah, what I might do now is come to the students. Jennifer, if I could maybe ask you. So obviously the fact that we are doing this virtually, we're meeting on the virtual world and we're helping people through the means of their laptops, their phones. Mm. And as the course itself is virtual, how do, what was I going to ask you? Yes, what is your kind of chances to meet each other? So as students, you finished up, was it 2019, 2020?
20, yeah, 2020.
You finished just at the kind of, just before we went into the madness. Yeah. So what was your experience of meeting each other?
So we had our study weekends. There were 5 a year, I believe, 4 or 5 a year. And they were very intensive. We packed in lots and we had as much fun as we had learning, to be fair. I found being with that team. I remember actually one of the first classes we had, probably the very first morning, and one of the tutors said that the network you make will be as important, as anything else you get from the course. And I couldn't agree more. And just the learning from, particularly the farmer, the proper farmers. I compare them to myself, who was not a proper farmer. The learning just from going on a farm walk and strolling through grasses and talking about the different types of grasses. It's as basic as that. The learning you get from your colleagues on the course is huge. Then there's the support you get on WhatsApp groups and all the rest. So you can make as much of that as you wish. And we had a wonderful group. We did make as much of one another as we possibly could, and that became very much a social thing and a support thing as well in terms of studies. So the meetups and the get-togethers were very important.
Yeah, and I think, as you were saying there, having the WhatsApp groups, the fact that you can always just like constantly kind of let each other know what you're doing, and then even down the line, like when you're actually out there either doing your PhD like yourself or out working in the field, you can all continue to kind of, this is happening, here's something I've tried, here's something that's working for me.
Sometimes it's just a phone call, coming up to the essay or whatever it might be. It's just that support, but it is invaluable and it's very strong, I have to say.
Yeah. I think that's so crucial to have that easy kind of connection with each other, especially the fact that it is a course taught online. Joel, how about your experiences of the meeting together? Because I think, was it the first time you got together as a group in September there, or had you done it before?
No, that was the first time, because with the COVID and everything that threw everything in the header. But I suppose, like, even like in a positive thing during COVID, I mean, the fact that it was set up, that SRUC was set up so well to do the distance learning. So all the, from an academic point of view, everything was there in terms of the materials online and the facilities to be able to have the lectures and everything. But yeah, it was exciting to, you're seeing people sitting behind their tables in their kitchen or their living rooms, and but to actually go and get to meet them, it becomes an excitement. And yeah, the first time was great and it was a real icebreaker, and then the second, third time, really looking forward to it, because it is a big kind of social thing as well, also, of course, to meet the tutors and the lecturers and everything. But yeah, I mean, we've coordinated now so well. I think I'm on my third or fourth visit coming soon, and we're already planning for breakfasts before we go up to the university, and we stay in a place that's near like a kind of restaurant in the evenings where we can go and have a bite to eat and socialize and everything. So it's great fun. It's great fun, and like that, yeah, we have the WhatsApp group set up, and yeah, just bouncing things off each other, yeah, especially when it comes to submissions and things, and just last minute questions and ideas. It's great. It's a very, very much a social thing,
Yeah, I think. I mean, I was fortunate enough to come up to the study weekends this year when I met you, Joel. And I remember we were walking through a big field, as Jennifer was saying, when you're walking through these big fields of grasses and stuff like that. And Joel, you were teaching me what a legume was. I would pick something up. You said, "Isn't that amazing?" I was like, "You're pointing at a plant to me. I don't know what that is." And then you taught me what it was. So, yeah, that was a really good chance to just see everyone, going out in fields. And we had one day of beautiful weather and one day of challenging weather, so to speak. And that's up in Aberdeen. That's at a Cravestone campus that we run that. So it's right next to the airport as well. So it was really easy for everyone to fly into. Or get to through public transport and stuff. So yeah, it was really nice just seeing everyone in the hotels at night and just kind of relaxing with each other. Because that's kind of where you make those connections. So yeah, really good points. And yeah, I probably enjoyed it. I was only up to take photos, but properly really enjoyed myself there.
Yeah, we have good fun on those trips.
What else was I going to ask? Oh yeah, another thing about the kind of virtual side of things, Lou, I'll come to you. Even though we're taught virtually, what is graduation like? Is it going to be like a Zoom call, or is it going to be? Is it obviously it's taught in Aberdeen? What's the side of things when we've finished the course? How do we celebrate and where do we celebrate?
Well, when we're not in the middle of a pandemic, we have the most fantastic graduation ceremonies at the very impressive Bute Hall at the University of Glasgow. And I always say, actually, for me personally, and I think for probably a lot of my colleagues, it's literally one of the best days of the academic year. One of the students once said to me, "Oh, is that because you're really glad to see the back of us?" And it's absolutely the opposite. It is just the culmination of so much hard work. And with the postgrad distance learning students, often, you meet the families who've been behind all the effort for the last 3 years, and absolutely fabulous day and really, really beautiful venue. So no, we don't do it online unless we've got COVID-19 breathing down our necks.
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing. I've seen the kind of photos and the videos. Again, you can see them on our social media of the day, and it's always just incredible seeing everyone in their cloaks, the gowns is what they're called, isn't it? Graduating in the beautiful Bute Hall, and yeah, it's always a nice occasion. So even though taught virtually at a distance, everyone getting together for that special day and friends and families all being there, it's a proper special one. So that's good. That's good to know. I mean, that's sometimes important to folks. They want to have a nice celebration at the end rather than just something in the post. Now, before obviously we get to graduation, there's the whole situation of the course to go through. So maybe Jennifer, seeing as you have kind of gone through the full course and are now onto your PhD, what was your kind of favourite part of the course? What was the bit that really kind of spoke to you?
Good question. Well, I suppose my interest in horticulture meant that I should have been, probably most drawn to the soil science. And I was, of course, I loved that. And Robin was a wonderful teacher. That was really valuable. But for me, I loved doing the dissertation in the sense that it allowed me to take something that was meaningful for me and go into it in real depth. And that's open to everybody, so you can find a topic that you love and run with that, and you get a good chunk of time to do something substantial with it. And then, as I said, I loved the livestock module. I found that really, really interesting. Not that I ever thought it wouldn't appeal to me, but I just didn't think I would find the connection with it or have the ability really to kind of engage with it. But again, the teaching was there, and the passion was there then from my classmates. So they kind of, they bolster you up a bit. Like I have memories of sitting on a plane talking to one of the past pupils, and he was kind of getting me through exams and stuff. It's all of that kind of stuff. So it's different things will appeal to different people, but they're the ones that stand out to me now. I think I learned a lot as well from the organic principles and standards module. I can't remember the exact title of it, but and that gets you thinking in a different way, because you're thinking about the full sector and you're thinking of just so much broader. It's not just about the practicalities of organic farming or organic horticulture. It's concepts and theories and frameworks and that kind of thing. So there's really something there for everybody. So it kind of, you can't get complacent, but you can challenge yourself at the same time, regardless of what your area is.
Yeah, that's good. That obviously the one that you thought you going to enjoy the most, and then you found other ones. I think that's as you say, it's quite good that even if you think you know something, you're like, oh, I'm going to get right into that. There's always something else to kind of take your interest, which is good about the course.
Absolutely, and even if it's not something that you may use again, in any practical sense, it's okay to just follow a thread sometimes because it's something you enjoy. And you have the space to do that. So that was lovely.
For sure. How about yourself, Joel? Is there a bit that you are really enjoying? So, I mean, you've not done your dissertation, and I've never heard anyone say their dissertation's their favourite thing. So, that was pretty incredible. But Joel, you've your pre-dissertation.
Pre-dissertation, yeah. I mean, there's a fair few modules now. I mean, like, I'm surprised. Like accounting, I'm doing accounting at the moment, and I honestly hate accounting. And I was like, that's what accountants are there to do. You pay them to do it, but I mean, it's actually really interesting because it's like a problem solving thing. And I suppose that what kind of appeals to me. I mean, I really like the soil management biology, but I really love the problem solving aspects of organic farming in general, because it's finding kind of ways to be productive within restrictions, if you know what I mean. And like at the moment, I'm doing one on a work experience module, which is really interesting. And again, it's finding out what the problem is, and then trying to find a solution that'll actually make your project. And the thing is that all of the different modules, no matter, I suppose, what they are, because I mean like the statistical ones and with the EU, I mean, it all feeds in to the whole program, and it's also relevant, and yeah, I mean, I've turned my nose up at some of them, and then I just get sucked in because it is very, very interesting, because it is so, they're all so interwoven into the bigger picture of organic farming.
Yeah, so you definitely say to people, if they maybe like yourself, they thought, oh no, accounting's going to be boring for me, but then just stick with it, and then it sounds like this kind of satisfaction of doing that problem solving stuff can really.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's and especially when there's a scientific element to it, because it's not just like you have to get to the bottom of it. You have to get to the root of what is going on and understand it, and kind of and that's what I really, really enjoy about it.
Yeah, and also excellent pun there by saying getting to the root of it. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, that's given us a good kind of idea of what, Jennifer and Joel, your favourite bits of the programme were. Lou, if I could come to you, obviously they've kind of talked about their favourite bits. Could you also give us a bit of a flavour of what the programme, other bits of the programme, or just kind of what you would kind of say is the kind of flavour of the course?
Yeah, I mean, it's really lovely to hear the reactions of Jennifer and Joel to the different modules. So there's a mixture of modules for the postgrad diploma. There's 8 taught modules, and that's split into 4 in year 1, which is kind of equivalent to postgrad certificate, and 4 in year 2. So the year 1 modules are the ones which are mostly the kind of technical production type of module. So that's the livestock one that Jennifer was talking about, and the soils and nutrient cycling that was mentioned as well. And there's also an organic crop and grassland module. So those are kind of the production kind of things. And then also something that Jennifer mentioned was a module which is called Organic Farming Principles and Practice. And that's about what organic farming actually is. So I've said earlier that it's the only farming system which is actually legally defined. So it is what it is. But this module covers the origins of organic farming. It covers the principles that it's based on and the standards that uphold it. And those are all really, really important things in terms of organic farming itself. And saying it like that, it maybe sounds a bit dry, but actually it's something that a lot of students actually really get quite into. And we had a student who graduated a year or 2 ago who had been managing an organic farm for like 20 or 30 years. And he finished that module and said, actually, I get it now. I get what underlies all these things that I've been doing. So yeah, that's what the first year brings. And then when you go into second year, the emphasis changes a little bit. So students learn about things like the financial and marketing elements of running a business, as Joel just mentioned. But they also, in second year, they have to use their knowledge a bit more to kind of put things together. So they have to do an organic conversion plan, which really kind of brings together all the knowledge that they've acquired over the sort of previous modules. And they also have to really hone their academic skills. So one of the modules asks them to write a critical review around some aspect of organic farming. And, as I mentioned earlier, quite often the information that we get in the media is a bit biased, or you kind of think, well, what's actually the evidence that's behind that? So in the second year, we're really encouraging students to use evidence-based argument and to kind of take a topic which might be contentious and actually put that down on paper in a way which kind of tries to give an answer by weaving its way through the evidence. So it's quite a difficult skill, but it's a really useful one to have. And then obviously in year 3, that year is completely research-based, and that's what gives you the master's at the end of year 3.
Oh, so yeah, it does cover a lot of ground. And I think the one that I always think is so great is the kind of the business kind of side of things as well, bringing that into, I mean, it's crucial for people who are going off to maybe start their own farms, or maybe to take their own farms to the next level. That can be the kind of crucial kind of bit that they need to do. So yeah, no, there's loads covered there. And if folk do want to find out more about the course, there's loads of information on the website. So they can just, if they just search organic farming SRUC, they'll be able to find that on the webpage for more information. Now, back to the students. Joel, I was maybe just going to ask you about the kind of challenges of studying virtually. If you could maybe kind of give us an idea of what it's obviously it's a bit different from going into a classroom every single day, but what are the main challenges, and maybe how have you got over them or kind of adapted to change?
Yeah, well, I suppose, I mean, COVID kind of accelerated that whole thing. There is a little bit of loneliness being in your own rather than, say, regularly visiting a college. But I suppose it makes the visits actually going to Aberdeen more exciting and something really to look forward to ultimately, And yeah, it's just, I suppose, self-learning and researching, and yeah, it's just about time management for yourself. But yeah, I mean, Look, the support is there if there's questions. I mean, I'm in contact, in constant contact with Lou and with the course lecturers, and they're always there with emails and whatever, or with the online sessions. So there's always lectures in between, and so it's not really an issue, but it does make visiting the university all that bit more exciting and a bit better.
Yeah. Good points. And Jennifer, how about yourself? What were your kind of main challenges to the kind of virtual learning situation?
Yeah, I mean, look, this course has been running a long time, so the resources that are available are very well established at this stage. And as Joel said, Lou is always at the end of an email, bless her. I sent her so many, as are the rest of the tutors. So in that regard, the course is incredibly well set up. I think it's more your own personal motivation and how you get yourself, to sit down for that hour every evening, or however you want to structure your week after your day's work and family, and everyone's busy, right? So that's the thing. And it's I would always say to someone, have a chat, like this, listen in to what other students have said, or if there's somebody how do they set up their week, and what can you do to chunk out that bit of time for yourself? It is good to have the family on board, I would say, or to have your own little support network. It's essential, actually, because it is 3 years if you go for the masters. So it is kind of it's a marathon, I guess, and it's good to be aware of that going in, because you want to get to the end. So for me, it was little and often, and that's what worked. Yeah. So
it's pretty much just finding what works for you, finding
Absolutely.
your own rhythm, and finding and using the support that's available to you. I think that's really good advice. And is that something? So the kind of next question, we'll stick with you, Jennifer. It's about what you've gone on to do. So obviously you're doing a PhD just now. So have you maybe taken some of that kind of stuff you've learned from the masters onto your PhD, and then what comes after that as well? What comes next? I mean, your mind's still very much still on the PhD, but if you could put your mind way forward, what are you thinking of doing?
Yeah. So I came from 2020. I finished, and then I started 2021 into my PhD, end of 2021. So I wouldn't be doing my PhD if I hadn't had those 3 years up, with Aberdeen. So I took so much, the basics were all there, they were embedded. So that was brilliant. Also, I work from home now mostly. A lot of my work is remote. It kind of started that way because of COVID, and it's kind of continued on that way. Although I would spend a lot of time with farmers. So that kind of self-motivation, that's all had to continue, and accessing stuff online and remotely, that's all still there. My work at the moment, I'm looking at integrated pest management, which isn't, it's not organic, but it's about as close as I'm going to get at the moment in Ireland, in terms of funded research within horticulture. My ideal would be to move that forward then somewhere into organics in horticulture in Ireland. As we have discussed, it's just such an exciting time. It's massively exciting in Ireland. I think Joel would agree at the moment. The organic farming scheme is being reopened, and there's a lot going on in pushing organics. So I think if you have this master's behind you, you're there, like you're kind of ready to go when the sector opens up to the extent that we think it's going to. So it's a really good time to be thinking about it,
Cool. Yeah. That's a really good answer there. And Joel, how about yourself? What comes next after this? Are you thinking of going down a similar line to Jennifer, maybe a PhD, or are you thinking more something else?
I don't know about the PhD yet, but I mean, like, the principles and the practice of organic farming is key. And like, for instance, like the EU has a directive for 30% agriculture for the whole of Europe by 2030. And I mean, Ireland is going to be lucky to hit about 7% in that time. So they're going to need, they're going to need certifiers. They're going to need people involved in policy. They're going to need a lot of things. Not that I want to become a certifier necessarily, but agronomy very much interests me. There's some really good non-profit organizations out there like Feeble and iFoam. So I don't know yet what. I think this is a path that I'm on, and I think it's probably a conversation I'm going to have to discuss with Lou over the next, but I'm only in year 2, so I still have another year and a bit to go. So it's festering, it's coming, it's a process that I have to go through. And it's a process of encouragement that's coming from the course leader and from the professors, and everything. So I'm still learning.
As is everyone, as are we all. So that's a good point. Oh, Jennifer, I'll just fill you in. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case anyone was considering doing the course who is more from a practical background, the course offers that as well. Like I'm also organically certified here at home for veg production. So, it's not just about going into policy or academia or whatever. It very much can give you we talked about the marketing and the financial side of things and the techniques, the practical application. So that is the core of the course, really. So yeah, don't feel like it's only if you're interested in pursuing a career in organics in the kind of abstract sense, Yeah.
Lou, have you got anything to add on to that as well?
Yeah, I would just completely reiterate what Jennifer just said, that we have a really big range of different students on the course from a range of different backgrounds, and some of those students are already producers, whether that's farmers or horticulturalists or market gardeners or whatever. Some of them are already organic and some of them are not. Some of them might decide not to become organic, but they want to take forward those kind of techniques and the management systems that they've learned from the program. And as well as that, we have people who are looking for a career change, or as I said earlier, are just interested in the way the food production systems are going, and want to know more about how food could be produced more sustainably. And I think there's so many topical things in the news these days that just really add to that interest.
Yeah. So there's loads of good reasons to why people should really kind of get involved in this. And I think we are seeing a lot more people kind of really wanting to be part of this because of everything you guys have already said so far this evening. I think we're kind of coming to the end of it. Just in case people have watched this and thought, I've seen Jennifer's done it, Joel's doing it, I want to try it as well. Lou, how could they go about applying? When's the best time for folk to apply?
Well, applications are open now, although we've kind of not long into the new academic year, but we're now taking applications for starting in September 2023. So yeah, feel free to apply anytime. The applications are usually open and right through until August, so you don't have to apply right now. You can take some time to think about it, but if you are interested, I would just say get your application in.
Yeah, and get in touch with us as well. So I think I've got a ticker tape running across the bottom of the screen just now, where if you're interested in finding out the fees as well, you can go on our website and find out them, depending on your circumstances. And if you do want to get in touch with us as well, the email address at the bottom of the page, postgraduate@sruc.ac.uk. You can send an email to that, and either myself or someone from the team will be able to get back to you and hopefully help you out with your application and let you know that to answer any more questions that you might have. But hopefully this session has answered lots of questions for you, and we've covered an absolute enormous amount of ground. So I think this has been really, really helpful. And I think just want to say thank you to the panel, to Jennifer, to Joel, to Lou for answering these fantastic questions with even better answers. So thanks folks, and that should be us. So just want to say thanks again, and good evening to everyone else watching. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.